He claimed Gujarat's police chief had told him this, though the chief denied it.
Without Sri Kumar, the case against the Narendra Modi government would be much weaker simply because there would have been no information from inside the government which would tell you what was happening. In that sense, he was a central figure in this investigation.
Another senior police officer, Sanjeev Bhatt, gave evidence.
The ghost of the Gujarat Riots back to haunt Narendra Modi. This time, it's senior police officer Sanjeev Bhatt who alleges that Modi was complicit in the Gujarat Riots. In an affidavit filed in the Supreme Court, Bhatt says that he was present at the crucial law and order meeting chaired by Modi.
I know my truth. I've stated my truth, and I've said there on oath in an affidavit submitted to the highest court of the land.
When he started deposing before the SIT, my father stated that the control room contacted him, saying that an unofficial meeting has been called at the Chief Minister's residence and that his presence was required. He said that Narendra Modi ended up saying that the emotions were running very high in the Hindus and it was imperative that the Hindus be allowed to vent their anger. He said that Narendra Modi had directed the police force to step down, look the other way.
Mr. Modi and other officials at the meeting said Mr. Bhatt did not attend. But an independent advisor to the Supreme Court said there was enough evidence to consider prosecuting Mr. Modi.
This is a prominent legal person who has reached his own conclusions about what is there. And I think some of those conclusions needed to be taken note of.
In major relief for Narendra Modi, the Supreme Court-appointed riots panel has found no evidence against the Gujarat Chief Minister. The complainant, Zakia Jafri, had accused Modi of ordering officials to give rioters a free hand, the only complaint that named him.
After 3 years, the SIT ruled that Mr. Modi would face no charges. It said R.B. Srikumar's account was hearsay, and Sanjeev Bhatt's account could not be relied on. It said claims about the instructions Mr. Modi had given were not established.
So what next for Modi? Legal experts say he has not got a clean sheet in the riots. Just that there is no evidence, but it could strengthen.
The ruling did not stop the debate over what had happened.
The special investigation team could not succeed for many, many different reasons. The investigation team had to rely somewhat on the Gujarat police.
Much of the investigation on the ground is done by police officers, and among the people who stand indicted are the Gujarat police force itself.
The SIT report is really very superficial. It doesn't explain how this pogrom could take place. So, of course, it underestimates, it minimizes the role of the top leaders, the chain of command.
To establish criminal conspiracy in law is often very difficult. Just because they have arrived at the conclusion there was no criminal conspiracy is not the same as saying the conduct is above question, that there were not serious lapses. That in no way takes away all the important questions that still stand on the 2002 violence.
Yes, there were some people who said they were at a particular meeting when others said they were not. Agenda was to destroy Narendra Modi politically. The agenda was explicitly political. I don't think they were concerned about Muslim victims. And these included a section of the media. These included journalists. These included NGOs. I think ultimately at the end of the day, the SIT findings didn't implicate Mr. Modi.
The SIT gave a clean sheet to Narendra Modi. We have to have faith on our institution, and we have to put a full stop on something, and we have to move forward.
The verdict cleared the way for Mr. Modi to run for Prime Minister. The travel bans were lifted. Diplomatic relations with the West were restored.
I don't think that I had any doubt that Mr. Modi is going to be the next Prime Minister.
Narendra Modi, India's next Prime Minister, riding into Delhi in triumph after he won an election landslide with his promise that good days are coming for India.
बड़ी खबर आ रही है इस वक्त। गुजरात के पूर्व आईपीएस अफसर संजीव भट्ट को जामनगर की अदालत ने उम्र कैद की सजा सुनाई है।
Sanjeev Bhatt was jailed for life in 2019 over a death in custody case dating back 30 years. His family insists he is innocent, and many say his trial was unfair.
The government will try to do whatever they can to ensure that my father's voice is not heard. He is the sole surviving witness who can tie Narendra Modi to the carnage of 2002.
No one has ever been convicted for the Dawood family murders.
Still feeling very angry, very frustrated. It feels like there's no justice there.
Ehsan Jaffrey's widow challenged the findings of the SIT in court. In June 2022, India's Supreme Court upheld the findings, saying there was no larger conspiracy. It ruled the testimonies of Sanjeev Bhatt and R.B. Srikumar were replete with falsehood, and said those involved in abuse of process need to be in the dock. Shortly after, Mr. Modi's closest political ally spoke out about the case.
आज कोर्ट ने स्पष्ट कर दिया कि सरकार ने दंगा रोकने के लिए भरसक प्रयास किए। ये लंबी लड़ाई मोदी जी ने बहुत धैर्यपूर्वक सारी वेदनाओं को, वो विष को हजम करते हुए लड़े, और आज चमकते सूर्य की तरह सत्य बाहर आया है। मोदी जी जीत कर बाहर आए हैं।
The police arrested Mr. Srikumar and a high-profile human rights worker who helped Mrs. Jaffrey bring the case. Sanjeev Bhatt, already in prison, was named in the police complaint too. All three are accused of fabricating evidence. 20 years on, the Gujarat violence remains controversial.
None of the people arrested were sources for our report, and the findings of our investigation still stand. 2,000 people were murdered in Gujarat in 2002, in a campaign of violence that was clearly well organized. That remains a fact. Now Mr. Modi is in power, it seems to me that history is being rewritten.
The Supreme Court gave a judgment which actually brought the whole matter to a closure. The closure was necessary.
The series continues same time next week on BBC.